Cooking safely, yes. Right, yeah. That's my final answer. Cooking safely. I'm terrible.
I am a straight donation station in Jupiter.
If you're low on cash, call Sawhead.
Give us a moment, FP. Give us a moment. Right in the middle. Yeah.
Go, squeeze.
Can we just please stop saying this a moment ago?
A Keegan comeback, not to be believed.
Mentally, I'm like 15. Yeah.
Subtle signs that you're playing with a stick.
A bag? You want me to be intimidated by a fucking bag? What is up, dogs? This is a pretty wild sentence to say. Dan on Golf is live in Dubai. We are at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic. We are here at the beautiful Emirates Golf Club. I'm joined by a new face today. Ben did not make the trip to Dubai. I'm here with Evin Priest, good buddy of mine, Australian journalist. Made a little news today. We're going to get into that.
Yeah, excited.
Welcome to the show. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better than you are. I landed in Dubai a couple of days before you did. I did the right thing. I did not go to bed that first day.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling pretty sharp, although it is late tonight.
It's late. It's 10 p.m. here in Dubai. It's 1 p.m. on the East Coast. We're grinding. Alex, Matt, and I got in last night late. I slept too much on the plane. No one wants to hear my sob story. What I will say about this experience is I have so much more respect for Tommy Fleetwood. Living in Dubai and playing on the PGA Tour is psychotic behavior.
It's aggressive.
It's like, it's a 12-hour time difference, and Alex Bush couldn't wrap his head around this concept that 12 hours is actually the worst time difference, because if it's 18 hours, it's really just 6 hours minus a day. It's 12 hours. We're struggling, but we're stoked to do the show. There's a ton to talk about. We're here ahead of the Hero Dubai Desert Classic. We're going to talk about all of that, our experience here in Dubai. We're going to talk about the Sony Open, the season opening event on the PGA Tour. So let's talk about the Sony Open. I think we might have a new Stinger King. Certainly someone on the Stinger echelon, in the pantheon, I should say. I'm thinking of Tiger Woods. I'm thinking of Gary Woodland. I don't know if there are any other Stinger goats that come to mind for you. But the thing about Chris Gotterup's Stinger is I think it's a little bit more of a violent Stinger. Like he's so on top of the golf ball. I was so impressed by him yesterday for a few different reasons. He was 7 of 7 fairways hit on the final 18 holes, or on the final 9 holes, I should say. And it was one of these tournaments where there were a bunch of guys behind him, and he had like a 2 or 3 shot lead midway through the back 9, and he just kept going. He kept going and going. And I'm interested in your perspective. I think Gotterup is a really interesting prospect because there are very few guys who can do things that other guys on tour can't do. And I feel like, I don't know if it's his build, I don't know if it's his golf swing, but the sort of like low bullet, we saw it when he beat Rory at the Scottish Open, and we saw it in spades yesterday in Hawaii.
It was impressive. It's just that, you're right, it's got that flat trajectory. It's not like other Stingers. Gary Woodland is maybe the most impressive I've ever seen, but Gotterup, and I was saying to you off air just before, is like launching drives into the stratosphere at 13 degrees and just letting it float into space. Is that kind of killing golf broadcasts in the sense that it is impossible to capture the golf ball at that height?
Yeah, no, it was like top tracer porn yesterday.
The cameraman does not have to move.
No, he doesn't have to move. It's a very visually pleasing shot. He closed it like a boss. We were rooting on this show for Patrick Rodgers because he's one of my favorites. I played golf with him this offseason. We're going to talk about him. He was our one and done pick. We'll talk about him later in the show. But Patrick just couldn't make the putts down the stretch. It was he shot a bogey-free 5 under, but he made 8 pars in a row on the back 9, and there was like 3 or 4 putts that were a couple inches away. And Patrick has had so many chances. I think he's 0 for 5 in closing 54-hole leads. One of these guys who, the story that I always tell with Patrick is, so I don't remember who told me this, but I guess TaylorMade has their own system for projecting how like a college guy's game will transfer to the PGA Tour. And the only guy they ever gave a higher score than Patrick Rodgers was John Rahm.
Really?
So this guy was like expected to be, he won 11 times at Stanford. I think he tied Tiger's record. Tiger only did 2 years. Patrick did 4 years. That's just semantics. So we were rooting for P-Rod here, but it was very clear to me watching Chris Gotterup very, very early on that back 9 yesterday that only one person was going to win this tournament. And it is Chris Gotterup. And my buddy Ben Boscovich had the chance to catch up with Chris. I was in transit. So here is Ben talking to the latest winner on the PGA Tour, Chris Gotterup.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Big day. You started the day right in the mix, and it kind of went up and down for the guys trying to chase you and catch you all day. Can you talk to me about like the step on their necks, keep your foot on the gas mentality, like going out and making a bunch of birdies on the back nine? Like, what does that look like in your mind when you're trying to get into that mentality?
Yeah. It's, for me, it was just playing aggressive, but playing smart all day, trying not to throw myself out of the tournament. And yeah, I got into good rhythm and, birdied obviously a couple holes to start and kind of tried to settle into the round, settle in. And once I got into good rhythm and then to make a couple putts on the back nine was huge. So it's really about just staying in the fight for me, try to stay in as long as I can and try not to throw myself out of it with the dumbest decision or anything.
So you make a pretty big birdie on 17. You grinded that putt out a lot. You were probably looking at something pretty unique there. And then what's in your mind going down 18? Like, I almost feel like when I watch you make that birdie putt on 17, I'm like, all right, this is his. Are you thinking that way, or like what's?
Yeah, I mean, I felt way better about 18 after making birdie on 17. I was looking at the board, and I know Ryan had birdie. I think Ryan birdied 16 and 17, so that made things a little more interesting. But once I birdied 17, I knew I had a decent gap on where I was going to be, and if Ryan made eagle, it would have made things a little bit more tight. But I just tried after I saw after making birdie, I stuck to the game plan of just getting in the fairway. But after that, I probably played a little bit more conservative than I would have, laying up 60 yards and just trying to punch it on the green and get her home in a couple putts.
These drives that you hit, man, they're so fun to watch, especially on TV when we have the tracer taking you at that 50, that 60 apex. How do you do that? How do you hit that shot?
Yeah, it's something that I've come to like a lot more. I think part of it is, when I transferred to Oklahoma, I played in wind every day. And it was something for me that I can still get out there and, the wind doesn't affect it as much. So for me, it's something where if I'm trying to find the fairway and, here the ball is running a lot. So if I just get it rolling in the fairway, it's going to take off. So for me, that's kind of like the mindset behind it. But it's a lot of trial and error hitting that shot. It doesn't always go well.
Is that a tougher shot to hit than your stock driver? I mean, you're describing it like a fairway finder, but it sounds like harder to hit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not. I like to hit the ball down. I like to flight it. So for me, I feel like I'm much more accurate that way. I have more control of what the ball is going to do, and with the wind here, I have more control of what I'm trying to do. And when I hit it up in the air, the wind has more effect on the ball. So I really just try to take the wind out of it. Obviously, I'm going to have to re-strategize here for Torrey Pines and get the ball in the air. But for this week, it worked.
You're a winner in Hawaii now. And, there's been a lot of chatter out there about, like, will the tournament come back to Hawaii? Will the tour come back to Hawaii? If you're the last guy to ever win this tournament, what does that feel like to you?
Yeah, I mean, any tournament, happy to win. And this is a great tournament. I think, if you asked everyone in the locker room, do you enjoy being here? They'd say 10 out of 10 yes. So we'll see what happens. I obviously don't have much say in it, but I'll come back for as long as we're able to.
Chris Gotterup will gladly come back to Hawaii, put it on the record. Thanks for chatting with us, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back to Hawaii. I'll be sad. I'll be sad if they leave Hawaii. I understand it from a business perspective, I suppose, but I don't know. It just feels like one of those corporate decisions that no one's actually happy about. And we talked about this on the show last week, but all of this, we can't compete with the NFL. It's like, when has golf ever competed with the NFL?
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to beat the NFL even if you go up against them or not. So I just don't really. Doesn't really resonate with me, that point.
The soul of the PGA Tour for me is the West Coast swing and
Yes.
Hawaii. And,
Preach.
And that Florida swing in March, I know that is everything to me. Everything to me.
It's like the rhythm that we've come to know. We probably sound like old people and times change, but no, I'm obviously a huge West Coast fan, living in Los Angeles, and I'm looking forward to getting home and driving to those events for the next few weeks. But it seems like an open secret that things are really changing on the PGA Tour, and I think it's going to be announced a lot sooner than we all think. A couple other notes from Sony. Bob McIntyre was up there despite breaking his putter on 17 on Saturday. Very frustrated, obviously. He missed a 3-footer on 18, and then he had this to say about his effort after the round.
Great round of golf. To be honest, it was rolling the putter actually. Don't know if it was a good thing to say, but I snapped my putter on 17 on Friday afternoon. Missed a 3-footer on 18, so doing that cost me a shot. It's a big reminder for me that attitude's got to be right for 72 holes, not just 36. Because at the end of the day, my attitude's cost me this golf tournament.
I think he's not a name that guys want to see behind him now. Like he's become a bit of a closer. But yeah, interesting that these guys still fall prey to all of the same neuroses that all of us, the rest of us golfers do. So we got to address this Vijay Singh thing, because I made a point last week that I was against Vijay Singh. I shouldn't say that. I was never against Vijay Singh. I'm against the rule. I'm against the one-time money list exemption rule. It just feels anachronistic. It feels from another time. Vijay made the cut this week. He finished tied for 40th, and all week I'm getting messages, you didn't respect Vijay's game. Where's your apology? Where's your apology? First of all, this was never about Vijay specifically. It was about the rule. And here's my stance. I'm impressed with Vijay's play. I remain opposed to the rule. Like, if you say you shouldn't drive 100 miles an hour, and then your buddy goes out and he drives 100 miles an hour and doesn't get in a car accident, are you then wrong for saying that he shouldn't have driven 100 miles an hour? Like everyone is so obsessed with like having the receipts and being right and these like gotcha moments. His play was never part of the point. And he finished tied for 40th. He didn't finish tied for 4th. And if you think I'm going to come off a take because he finished T40 against a weak PGA Tour field compared to other PGA Tour fields, you're mistaken. Like you can't do this job and have the result dictate every single one of your takes, and you're just going to be constantly apologizing.
I was about to say that like the outcome does not dictate the merit of the rule. Like he could have won and it would still not be a great rule.
Yeah.
Like
if he won, to be fair, I would have been in a little bit of a tough spot. But he finished T40 too. Like he finished T40 in the Sony Open, and I'm not taking away like he's the first guy since I think at that age to make a cut since Fred Couples, and it was a very impressive performance, and I'm not saying that it wasn't an impressive performance. It doesn't change my stance on the rule, and I actually thought this was sort of like indicative of like a larger problem where everyone's just like, you can't be that reactive. If you're going to do this job and you're going to have takes, you can't just then, and maybe this is me doing a little bit of therapy with myself live on the show, but you can't just be like, oh, well, he made the cut, so everything that you believe was completely wrong because he made the cut, and if he didn't make the cut, you would have been right.
I saw the intimation that you were suggesting he didn't earn it. It's like, that's not a question of whether he definitely earned it. One of the greatest careers in the modern era.
For sure.
It's just like he earned something that we maybe think probably shouldn't exist in the first place.
Right. Like 100% right, and I think Kyle Porter made this analogy last week on Twitter. It'd be like if Troy Aikman, because he won 3 Super Bowls, got to play quarterback for the New York Jets for a year. I just don't think it should exist. So I'm not coming off that take. Congratulations to Vijay. It was a very impressive performance. I'm not coming off that take. A few other finishes that I want to highlight. Daniel Boog, who we did an On the Bag with last year, he finished tied for 6th. Very good start. Jake Knapp and Siwoo Kim, both off to good starts with tied for 11s. Big Dan Brown from the DP World Tour. I like Dan Brown.
Fresh off the video.
Yeah, fresh off the video.
Like like you're playing the music.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was playing the guitar.
He kind of announced himself as the next character on the PGA
Tour. Yeah, I think he smokes cigarettes too, which the golf internet
they love cigarettes.
If a guy smokes cigarettes, if a guy is
or a girl,
if a guy or a girl smokes, Charlie Holt, people were like freaking out about that. If a guy or a girl smokes cigarettes on tour, they're a god. If they're maybe not built like Adonis and they smoke cigarettes, then people are absolutely obsessed with them. So Dan Brown finished tied for 19th. On the not so sweet end, Colin Morikawa missed the cut. Interesting tweet from Colin. He said there were some improvements that I saw in the offseason, some not. So didn't seem to be like super confident. And Tony Finau, who's coming off missing the Ryder Cup last year, shot +6, and he missed the cut pretty significantly. All right, we're going to hop into one of our favorite segments. This is Knockaround, presented by Knockaround. I don't have Knockarounds with me because it's 10 p.m. and we're inside, but Alex is going to toss them to me right now. Here we go. Look at that. Teamwork. These are beautiful Knockarounds. They're the best in the business, and they're for the right price. You got to just stop spending stupid money on sunglasses. You're going to lose them, and you don't have to sacrifice quality with these knockarounds. We have a promo code for you guys. If you go to knockaround.com, use the promo code DanOnGolf20, you get 20% off your first order. That brings these sunglasses from like $35 to $28. They're the same quality, if not better, than the guys that cost 10 times the price. Go on the website, buy yourself 3. You get 3 for the cost of 1 from the other guys. On the DP World Tour, which we are obviously locked into right now because we are here in Dubai, just down the road, you were there?
Yep.
Nacho Elvira, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Won his third
yeah.
DP World Tour event. I congratulated him today. He was doing an interview in the media center. He's got that John Rahm facial hair where I feel like he cannot shave for one day and he has like a beard growing like underneath his eyeballs. As a guy who sometimes struggles to get full coverage, I'm a little bit jealous of that. How was it yesterday watching that?
It was really cool. It was kind of like, I wouldn't say the air got sucked out of the tournament, but the crowd was wanting, obviously, Rory to win. Rory was tied for the lead. He had 5 birdies in a row starting from the 9th hole. This was after like 2 early bogeys, so it really felt like I kind of ruled Rory out quite early. And then I checked the leaderboard. I was like, holy moly, he's back in it. Shane was leading right up to the 18th tee shot. So having said that, like what I witnessed from Shane Lowry, he was stunned himself. It was really poor, just a poor club selection on the approach shot, airmailed in the back of the greenside bunker. And admittedly, that bunker shot is like 11 out of 10 difficulty. Like he had to pitch it perfectly on a shelf. It was maybe half a yard too far, rolls over and into the water, makes a double bogey quicker than you can say double bogey, and he was just shell-shocked afterwards.
Yeah, and Shane feels things really heavily. That's like part of the reason why I think everyone...
He was fantastic. He said this is going to sting for like a day or two. And we thought... It's not to pit them against each other, Dubai Invitational versus Dubai Desert Classic, but this week, where we're here at the Emirates Golf Club, it's the first Rolex Series event of the year. It's a massive event. Last week is a really cool event, but they're kind of like seeing where their game's at. And he was stinging. He was shell-shocked. He was devastated. And he said it's going to take, a couple of days.
Shane is not Rory, right? Rory wins tournaments all the time. He wins tournaments all the time. Shane doesn't win tournaments that often. That's not a knock on Shane. That's Shane being the same as 99% of other golfers, and we actually have this clip. So let's show everyone what happened with Shane Lowry on the 18th hole, or 17th hole, 18th hole,
18th
on the
hole,
18th hole yesterday at the Dubai Invitational. Yeah, you could see as soon as he hits it, he's like, sit.
It was such a hard bunker shot.
Yeah. I just love the look that you could see in the clip here. The photographer gives that a look like, well, he is not going to be happy. I should probably take out this camera because he's going to give me some not so happy faces. Over on the Corn Ferry Tour, Taylor Dixon, this was a little while ago because the Corn Ferry Tour in the early part of the season, or at least when they do those events in the Bahamas, they do this Sunday to Wednesday, which I like. I mean, it's nice for us to just have like competitive golf on the whole time. Taylor Dixon played on the PGA Tour last year, lost his card, went back to the Corn Ferry Tour, won the first event of the year, which is an awesome feeling, I'm sure, in the Corn Ferry Tour. This guy lines his club up outside the ball, like pretty far outside the ball, and then obviously reroutes it on the way back. He said it's just something that started as a training aid, which is, most of the time you see these guys do something weird with their golf swing. It is something that started as a training aid, like fits with cross.
Is it like an anti-toe miss kind of thing?
That sounds like the right move, but it's just not every day you see a golfer line like you. If you saw that guy on the driving range, you'd be like, this guy stinks. Ben On signed with Liv. He's going to be the captain of the Korea Golf Club, despite an old tweet that everyone was resurfacing that said, I wouldn't go to Live basically without a lot of money, and everyone was retweeting that, being like, what about this, what about this? I'm going to defend Ben On here. I don't want to be held accountable for everything I've ever tweeted in my life. And I want to make one thing clear about Liv. At least not in the last couple of years. I've never had an issue with a specific player for going to Liv. My issue with Liv, or my criticisms of Liv, are not player specific. A guy like Ben On is the exact type of person who it makes a ton of sense would go to Liv. I think it's the same thing with Thomas Dietrich. These guys who are kind of in the middle of their careers, they haven't broken through as like big time stars on the PGA Tour. Ben On has played all the tournaments that you can play. He's played in the President's Cup. He's 35 years old, and he got offered a lot of money to go to do something for his career. I think it's totally fine. I have no issue. And again, this is probably part of like the Vijay. I'm in this mood of like, stop being lame on the internet, stop being a gotcha guy. But I just think it's lame behavior to be like, oh, well, he tweeted this a couple years ago, 3 years ago. He's not allowed to have a new opinion. Things change. And I certainly would not want to be held accountable for something that I said 3 years ago on Twitter.
We're in the receipts age, and I don't like it.
It sucks, dude. And I mean, I think, and we'll talk about your thing in a second, but like it's kind of scary putting stuff out there on the internet now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like of all of the guys in the replies, and like as soon as you send it out, there's like this wave of like anxiety that comes almost immediately.
But also like what you can't change your mind versus I don't know when the tweet was, but 3-4 years ago, like it's okay to change your mind.
It
with
is
new information.
Not only is it okay to change your mind, but I think one of my guys who I look up to, Colin Coward, says smart people change their mind. It's a mark of someone who takes in feedback. Speaking of live golf, Bryson signed an endorsement deal with Kalshi, which is a prediction market. He's their first ever athlete ambassador. The PGA Tour does not allow these type of sponsorships, and this is part of the Bryson question of is he going to come back to the PGA Tour, and why the more I think about it, I can't see it. Bryson wants to be able to do whatever he wants. And he has a situation right now where he can take his cameras wherever he wants on live. He can film whatever he wants. He can sign whatever endorsement deal he wants. He can tweet. He can troll his league. He has all the leverage. He is the guy. And I just don't, I said this on the show on Wednesday, or last week. I don't think Bryson, like, looks back crazy fondly on his time on the PGA Tour. Like, all of this, the Bryson sort of PR glow-up happened after the PGA Tour. When he was playing on the PGA Tour, he's like the only one who went over there and got way more popular. I think he's got a great situation. I can't really, he's the one guy I can't, like I can absolutely see Rahm coming back. Rahm is a competitor. He talked about how much he loves Tory and how much he loved winning at Riviera. I don't really see that for Bryson.
I could see the PGA Tour being more lenient towards what he wants to do away from the course, though. Like I could see them, especially with the new CEO Brian Rowlap being like his vision so far has been exemplary. I could see him changing some rules for Bryson. If that's what Bryson wants to do away from the course, go be it. But show up to these events and play your hardest.
Yeah, we'll see. There's both those guys made it very clear that their contract is up in 1 year, and we are going to it was a hostage press conference, and we're going to see what happens next year. Rory McIlroy made some comments on live. More of the same. Basically said they're not really signing anyone that moves the needle. I actually think it's not even about and Joel said on this show, we're a star-driven tour. It's all about the stars. I think it's more about the infrastructure and ecosystem than it is the stars, because you can't say that live hasn't succeeded in signing stars. They've signed a lot of stars, and it hasn't materialized into public interest. So I just think they're in a bit of a tough spot. There's some rule changes on the PGA Tour. This was interesting. So they are changing the distribution of money and FedEx Cup points for the playoffs. Now, obviously, this is relevant because Brooks Koepka is coming back. He is ineligible for the FedEx bonus, but they changed it around, so now the bonus is only really what they pay after the BMW. So if he makes it to the Tour Championship, he can play for that $10 million. And they also changed the points distribution. A win in the playoffs used to be worth, I think it was like $2,500. Now it's only $750. The playoffs, I think, are going away. It seems to me like, and Harris English kind of spilled the beans on this. It seems like the PGA Tour is going to be like this is the PGA Tour, and all of our events kind of matter the same. And I feel like this is them sort of phasing it out. Jordan Spieth is a nut. He's a nut job. We love him so much for being a nut job. But basically, in his first start of the year, he said, frankly, I just put a 3-iron in like 2 days ago, and it cost me 2.5 shots. The shots I hit with that club. I'm going to go back to my hybrid, and I'll be better off. They said, what possessed you to do that? He said, well, I think a driving iron, it's just a driving iron course, like here in the Open. The problem is, I had 4 months to get ready for this week, and I dug 5 3-irons out, and I hit them the day before I came here, and then I brought them all here, and then I was trying to figure out which one I liked here, and they were all good. And so then I got to pick one, and I just haven't been playing with it, so I think I'm just going to go back to the hybrid. Jordan Spieth, from all of us, please never change. Our sweet Sungjae Im is injured. I got tipped off to this news by the closest friend to the show, Willie Wilcox. He said the Prince is not going to be at Amex. I said, why not? And he sent me a video of him hitting a golf club and then grimacing with his wrist. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to see, a wrist injury. We all hope that Sungjae improves. I think it's a little bit funny that he did 3 weeks of military training and had no injuries, and then first tournament back, his wrist is injured. You never know when these golfers, we're a delicate bunch. We're a delicate bunch. The Latin America Amateur Championship was won by a 25-year-old, which is very rare. Oldest winner ever in that competition, Matteo Pulcini. He's a bigger guy, so the internet loved him because he's a bigger guy. It's a very simple formula. So he won the Latin America Amateur Championship. He is going to be playing in the Masters. 25 years old. Played D2, was an All-American D2, then transferred to, I think, Arkansas, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Arkansas.
And technically a mid-am? 25?
Yeah, 25. You are technically a mid-am. So yeah, mid-am actually won the Latin America Amateur Championship. So the 7 automatic spots given to amateurs in the 2026 Masters field have all been locked up. The NCAA champ is Michael Lasasso from Ole Miss. The British Am champ is Ethan Fang from Oklahoma State. The U.S. Amateur champ is Mason Howell, who is going to be a freshman at the University of Georgia. The U.S. Am runner-up was Jackson Harrington, a.k.a. the Fridge, out of University of Tennessee, another Porky boy. We're talking a lot about pork today. The U.S. Mid-Am champ is Brandon Holtz, who was a professional golfer. And the Asia Pacific Amateur champ is FIFA Laupakti.
Laupakti.
Yeah, FIFA. That's a
fun fact. That was here. And I was here for that.
I feel like you've been covering that, right?
Yeah, it's great event. And that was here 2 months ago at the Emirates Golf Club. Much different course coming out of summer, like not as lush and overseed as it is right now. His dad loved the game of soccer, and he was either going to be called FIFA or UEFA.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding.
That's incredible.
So he's very lucky that his dad chose FIFA.
So I was Googling him before this, and FIFA's, nickname. Like, he's got a very long name.
Yeah, it's a nickname.
And I knew it had to be something to do with
But it was one of those
soccer.
nicknames that's just like stuck. It's his actual kind of name, like pseudo name. And Arizona State stud. He went back and was partying with his teammates straight afterwards. He said, a fun fact for the final round, like when he's stressed in NCAA events, he sings songs to calm himself down.
Really?
So I said to him in the press conference here, I said, what was the song you sung today? And it was, Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. That helped him to his... Exactly.
If I was walking and someone was singing that next to me, that would probably make me upset.
It calmed him down. That final round.
Calmed him down. No, I was just reading that list to show that it's a great list, except for the U.S. Mid-Am has just been completely corrupted by former professional golfers, and I think the USGA needs to develop a spine on this issue, and I've been very clear on that. I stand by it. Our last item in the Knockaround, Evan, you made a little news today. This was making the rounds on the golf internets. You spoke to Patrick Reed, and he said a few interesting things. I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah, so myself and James Corrigan from the Telegraph of London, we interviewed Patrick Reed on the weekend of the Dubai Invitational, and it was a long-ranging interview, and one of the topics that we sort of canvassed, which we had to, was the returning member program to the PGA Tour. Obviously, it was all hypothetical because Patrick Reed is not eligible for the returning member program. It is for major champions from 2022 onwards, basically when LIV was created. But we said, hypothetically, if you were eligible, would you be interested? And he kind of just didn't rule it out. He said, I mean, of course, I'd consider it if they brought that number down to 2018, which is when he won the Masters, and he would at least have to think about it. And he called it the best tour in the world. And I don't think like anyone could get up in arms about that. Like, it categorically is the best tour in the world. It doesn't have to be everyone's favorite tour. Some people love LIV, some people love this tour, the DP World Tour. But he was simply saying it's like the deepest tour in the world. And why wouldn't he consider that? But he said right now it's not even a decision because he's not eligible for that program.
But I think you were the one who spoke to him. But it seems to me that he's sending a message like, we would come back.
It was kind of like
what was his tone?
His tone was like very measured, like upbeat, but very measured. And it was just like, in that hypothetical realm, I would have to consider it. It was exactly what he said. Is that he would have to consider it. He'd have to think about it. He called it the best tour in the world, and he said that if, it's all hypothetical. If they brought it down to 2018, he would definitely consider it.
But also, I mean, LIV is going way more international. You can see that just with the people that they're signing. I mean, they're leaning into these like teams. There's a South African team that's rebranded. They're the Southern Guards is the Korean Golf Club team. Majestics did like a whole their Team England now. I mean, I feel like I got punched in the nuts coming here. And the notion of doing this like 12 times a year, going to these far off places, I think if you're an American on LIV, it's probably you see the direction this is going, and it's.
And he has a family to think about. Like it's certainly a lot easier to fly domestically within the US.
Well, that's what he said when he went.
And he can be back Sunday night, and there's all sorts of things to consider. So, I mean, he would be foolish not to consider it. And I kind of applaud him for like being open and honest and saying, I would think about it.
Yeah. So Rory McIlroy, moving topics a little bit. Rory McIlroy is done with blades. He has switched to cavity back irons. He said, if there's help to be had, I'll definitely take it. And I want to make our second official statement. Unless you are a touring professional or a surefire future touring professional, stop playing blades. It's like that Michael Jordan meme. Stop it. get some help. The best player of our generation wants more forgiveness in his clubs. And I have played golf, and I'm sure all of you have, with so many players who have blades who have no business having blades in the bag. It's a style move.
Give me a handicap, like, is acceptable for blades?
+6.
That high?
Yes, bro.
Wow.
Like, it looks cool, but you know what's cooler than looking cool is shooting low scores. I can guarantee you that no one apart from you cares what your golf bag looks like. You know what they will remember? If you flush it. And they're not going to say, oh, he flushed it, but you know what? They were cavity back irons. It's I just think technology is so damn good now. Use it. If you're a country club golfer, like I'm a decent club golfer, I would never even sniff playing blades. I think it's a vanity move at this point in time. Again, if you're a touring professional, Chris Gotterup won with blades. I don't tell touring professionals what to do. I don't tell elite level amateurs what to do. But if you're a club golfer and you know who you are and you have blades in your bag, stop. Just get some help.
Henrik Stenson thumps the ball with cavity backs.
Cavity backs, bro. It's cool. You know what's cooler than looking cool is shooting low scores.
Yep.
I'll just put it that way. All right, we're going to do a new segment now. These are called the Dankings. Obviously a play on word from rankings. The word dank is a funny word, and Dan is my first name. So we're going to rank some stuff throughout the year. And our first one is we're going to do a little top 15 players in the world ranking. And obviously the sort of motivation for this is the world rankings are completely broken. They're totally broken. And there are a lot of other systems that do a really good job. Data Golf does a really good job. But I think there's room for think of this as like an AP poll. You don't know what that means, but it's an AP poll. Do you know what AP poll is? Like where they rank the college teams?
Yeah, the college.
Yeah, like they basically ask people to rank the teams, and they rank the teams. So I'm going to rank my top 15 players. My number 15, and this is sort of tongue-in-cheek, is Patrick Rogers in the world, number 15 in the world. The reason I'm saying this is it's half a joke, obviously, because I love Patrick. We played together, this offseason. I saw him shoot 64 at Brentwood like he was breathing. It was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I genuinely believe, from a raw tools perspective, he is this good. I really do believe this is the breakout year for Patrick Rogers. He's my number 15. Number 14, we've got Russell Henley. Advanced stats, love this guy. I just have a really hard time looking past what I saw at the Ryder Cup, and I know that that's emotional. But again, these are my rankings. This is not done from.
They're the Dankings.
They're the Dankings. This is not done from a mathematical equation. This is done from my brain. Number 13, Joaquin Niemann, won a gazillion times on Live last year. Had a really bad end of the season, but I'm a believer in Waco. I feel a little bad for him. I feel like him and Tyrrell Hatton were the two guys who were kind of left in the dark, obviously with Phil and maybe even DJ, by that sort of returning member program. But I think Waco's a world-class player. I really do. Number 12, Chris Gotterup, 3 wins in his last 69 starts, which is a very nice performance. And he thumps the golf ball. I love what I saw last year, taking down Rory McIlroy. And again, that's just sort of like swagger. It just seems. I tweeted this. It was kind of a weird tweet that he reminds me of like the best pickup player, but he's a golfer. Like just kind of shows up there and just knows how to, like you see that golf swing on the driving range, you're not going to think that he's one of the best players in the world. I love his style. Number 11 is Victor Hovland. Number 10, we're moving to Bob McIntyre. Again, a closer. As long as he doesn't break his putter, I like his chances this year. Number 9, Ben Griffin, which is kind of amazing to say given last year he probably wouldn't have been even in the top 90. But this guy, it was just so sustained all year last year. And also I was at the, the Shorties Classic. And he was awesome at the Shorties Classic, and these are part of the Dankings. I see something, and then it sticks in my brain. Number 8, Matt Fitzpatrick won his 3rd DP World Tour Championship the year-end last year, was really good in the Ryder Cup, was in danger of missing that team, had a really strong end of the season. He is starting his season this week at the Amex. Number 7, Ludwig Åberg, kind of a strange year last year. Won Torrey at Torrey, won the Genesis at Torrey, was expected to be one of the main challengers to Scotty Scheffler. It didn't materialize that way, but I'm a believer in him to rebound this year. Number 6, Bryson DeChambeau. Don't get to see him play as much as I would like because I typically go to PGA Tour events, but this guy's the run he went on in the majors in 2024 through 2025, it was like he was there every single year. I have no doubt, and this is another reason why I say he could literally just do YouTube in the majors, because I have no doubt that he will win another major in the next 5 years and then just reset those exemptions. Number 5, Xander Schauffele. He won this off-season, or not off-season, he won in the fall in Japan, 2 majors in 2024. He's still Xander Schauffele. Number 4, John Rahm. Won Liv's Player of the Year, despite not winning a tournament. Isn't that right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing.
Well, not until the end. Yeah.
He won in the end?
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was like, despite Waco winning 5 times, but that's how consistent he was all year. And, Rahm, had a resurgence in the majors this year after a pretty disappointing, I would say, majors. He had a chance to win at Quail Hollow. Number 3 is Tommy Fleetwood. Has been incredible for the last 12 months. Got that monkey off his back, was incredible at the Ryder Cup. Would not be surprised at all if this is the major breakthrough for Tommy. The top 2 are going to be absolutely no surprise to anyone. Rory McIlroy, number 2. Number 1, that man, Scottie Scheffler, who makes his return to the PGA Tour this week at the Amex. We are all very excited to watch Scottie play golf because it's just a really fun thing to watch Scottie Scheffler play golf. All right, we're going to move into, in a second, we're going to move into our Give Me a Winner. We have a recorded segment from my man, Rick Gehman. But first, we told you all that we were doing this one and done with Splash Sports all season. Our first pick was Patrick Rogers, who finished solo 3rd. So if the one and done ended right now, we invested $250, we would leave with $2,500, which is 10x our returns. Unfortunately, there are 46 or something more tournaments, so we got a long way to go, but we're off to a great start. My one and done pick for this week is Michael Thorbjornsen, Thor, as we're calling him. Won PGA Tour U out of Stanford. Had a solid kind of start to his career, but I think there's a really high ceiling there. And this week is about birdies and firepower and birdies. The Palm Springs area at this time of year is literally a dome. It's like those golf courses are perfect. Guys like to start the year there because it is like really not
overseeded.
It's not a difficult layout. The greens are absolutely perfect. And I like Thor to, you're going to need to shoot 8 under every day, 7 under, 6 under every day to have a chance. So the pick in the one and done, we're going to keep this momentum going, is Michael Thorbjornsen. And with that, we will toss it to our man, Rick Gehman, who's going to give us his picks on Give Me a Winner.
All right. The American Express, it absolutely breeds chaos. In the last 6 years, the average winning odds have been over 150 to 1. On average, it's the second longest winners odds on the PGA Tour, just next to the Wyndham Championship. So this is an event that breeds chaos because you've got the 3-course rotation. It's the completely mega max full 156 players, like all that fun stuff. It's a pro-am. There's just a lot of wonky stuff that's going on. So don't be afraid to get a little bit freaky this week. On my card, I'm going to start with an outright that's not super freaky, but one that's maybe flying under the radar a little bit in Matt Fitzpatrick. He's 30 to 1. He has made 7 starts this fall. 4 of them are top 6 finishes. That includes a win on the DP World Tour, a Ryder Cup victory, just a lot of good vibes and a lot of great play from Matt Fitzpatrick right now. Top 10, I'm going back to a player who played not only great last week, but last year, especially at the end of 2025 to get his ticket to the Masters, and that's Ryan Gerard. He was one of the best players in strokes gained approach last week. He drove it really well. He feels to me like a player who's on the verge of a breakout. So Ryan Gerard to finish inside the top 10, and then let's continue to go deeper here and see if we can find a little bit of value with Seamus Power. He finished his fall in a really strong fashion, a T11 in Bermuda, a T7 at Sea Island. I love the way he not only made an eagle on his last hole on Friday at the Sony to get into the weekend, but also with the way that he closed with a 64 on Sunday, really struck it well, has played well at the American Express. I'm just asking him to finish on the first 2 pages of the leaderboard for a top 20. And here's a bonus for you. In Dubai, how about Tom McKibben? He has played 10 times since the LIV finale last year, all over the globe. He's won in Hong Kong. He had top 20s nearly everywhere. He's played this event before because he's he's residing in Dubai. A lot of great ties there. T6, T14 in the last 2 years. Unbelievable young talent. I think he gets the job done in Dubai. Hopefully, what are those, 9,000 miles apart, something like that. We can find a couple of winners in both places.
Yeah, good stuff from Rick, as always. Tom McKibben would be an interesting winner. Another guy who decided to go to LIV at a really interesting point in his career, kind of like Elvis Smiley, who's an Australian guy like you.
Yeah.
And I think it's and Yosele Ballester. They have invested Caleb Surratt. They have invested a lot in these top young players. And David Puig is another one who's been playing really well. The problem is it's hard for them to then break through and into the general golf consensus, but that doesn't mean that they're not capable. Tell me a little bit about Elvis Smiley.
Yeah, so Elvis actually comes from like a fairly famous tennis family. His mother, Liz Smiley, was really famous doubles tennis player in the 80s. Played in Grand Slams. She now commentates. So he's grown up in this kind of like elite performance environment. And always just like, I saw him play when he was 11, 12, 13 years of age. He always looked like a superstar. He carried himself, the body language, the golf swing like Adam Scott. He's kind of the sort of like joke in Australia is that he's a mini Adam Scott, right? Phenomenally talented player, like the most elegant golf swing. It is like a swan just like scooting across the water. He's so beautiful to watch. Massive talent, beat Cameron Smith at the Australian PGA Championship about a year ago. In the space of like 14 months, he's gone from no professional victories to 2 professional victories, one of those on the DP World Tour, challenged for one of those 10 cards to get onto the PGA Tour, but just didn't quite get it done in the Middle East at the end of last year. And now he's signed to Cameron Smith's Rupert GC squad.
What is the reaction in Australia? Because obviously, everyone says, oh, you live in America, you think the whole world revolves around you, and I do live in America. I'm very proud to be an American, but I do understand that the world's a big place, and Liv has a very, intimate relationship with Australia. Is there no blowback? Does anyone say, oh, why is he doing this, or is it just kind of accepted?
I think it's a very multifaceted question. Like, not everyone is absolutely all in on Liv. It certainly helps that Liv Golf gave Australia a world-class golf tournament, like 110,000 people through the gates, really cool atmosphere. So it's hard to look past that. However, if you look at like what it's done to the complete landscape of golf, the biggest golf stars in Australia are now on different tours and therefore different broadcast networks, and that's the only thing I would say for the fan is it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them in one place. But the net gain, I suppose, would be positive for Australian golf in that, you still get to watch. It's not impossible, and I'm not saying it's impossible to watch those golf stars. They're on one of the main free-to-air networks in Australia. It's called Channel 7, is how you watch Liv in Australia. But and there's a really great tournament out of it. So like the net gain, like the net, it's positive. It's like, it's been good for Australia. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. Like, how does it... The thing about Liv Golf in Australia is it is the biggest deal in the world come February when Liv Adelaide is happening. They need to sustain that momentum in between Liv Adelaides because it kind of like falls by the wayside when it comes to the major championships. And then, if the Aussies win, which they did, Ripper GC won 2 seasons ago, they won the team championship, then it spikes again. But for Liv Golf, it's really important.
So there actually is like national like pride in that team?
I would say so, yeah. Like, is it the best? Is it in the biggest 10 sporting teams in the country? Not yet, certainly not yet. But there's like, based on their social media presence, the fact that they won the team championship 2 years ago. There's this kind of like vicarious element where you watch their socials and you're like, that looks like a fun place to like hang around those guys. They all get along. They've got great banter. They're all great dudes. They're really funny, and all of them are really like big golf stars, and they're world class. But like, are they in the biggest 5 sporting teams in Australia? Not close, because like, Aussie rules cricket and the Socceroos are everything to Australians. And even like, having said that, it's like, there's 5 teams from the Aussie rules and the rugby league that are massive deals, and the Socceroos, and so it's hard to penetrate that psyche, but like, they are gaining momentum year by year. They just have to keep winning. It's like Americans, Australians, we love winners. Yeah. And they're going to keep winning.
If you win, everything takes care of itself. Well, that segues very nicely into a new segment that we are calling Say Something Nice About. And we are going to say 5 nice things about Liv Golf, because I have been hammered for being negative on Liv and this, that, and the other. Obviously, there was the whole meme situation. My first one is Australia. What they have done with a sleeping golf giant in Australia is meaningful, and it was smart. The PGA Tour abandoned Australia in a way. I don't know if it was ever actually there, but I guess neglected is probably a better word. I mean, you guys have such a rich golfing history. We saw, I was watching the Australian Open. It was won by Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson, who we're going to talk to tomorrow, who's playing this week at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic. Captivated by the golf course. I mean, those Sandbelt golf courses are absolutely incredible. And Liv, one of the things that I have heard repeatedly is it's a good experience in person. Like, if you're into that sort of thing, with the music playing, it is a different atmosphere. It is a party atmosphere. It's a less sort of stuffy atmosphere when you're going. Sometimes going to a PGA Tour event can be like a little almost intimidating because you don't know where to stand. You got to be quiet the whole time. What they have done with Australia and giving them a team and going down there is really significant for all the reasons.
And can I jump in there?
Please.
They've credit to Liv. They've created I would say 4 or 5 events around the world that are really, really good golf tournaments. I've been the last 2 years to Live Golf UK. That is a complete vibe. It is awesome. It's up in the Midlands in that Birmingham area. Football's not happening in July. It's the week after the Open. People are kind of fatigued about golf, but they're also craving it a little bit in the sense. And it's a huge party atmosphere there.
I've heard that when they go to these places, it is
the live experience
a big deal.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Live Adelaide, the event in Korea, the event in Hong Kong, Live Golf UK, Valderrama is a really good spectacle as well.
Right, and I'll jump in here and say, they're not it's not a traveling festival. It is supposed to be a golf league, so that is not enough, I don't think, to appeal to the masses, but it is worth noting that it is a good in-person experience. And the first nice thing I have to say about Live is what they've done in Australia is good and meaningful. Second one is I love Torquay. I love the Torquay team, the Latin American team. I went down there to Miami a couple years ago, had a really good time with them. We go back and forth on social media. They go, they chirp me, I chirp them back. I just love Torquay. That's my second nice thing to say about Liv. My third one is, and this is inarguable, they have made golfers more money. And there's no two ways around it. Look at what the purses on the PGA Tour have happened in the last couple of years. I saw a lot of chatter when Brooks went back that this guy played it perfectly because he left and now he comes back and the purses have doubled since he left and he got the $125 million for going to Live and he doesn't, he has to make a $5 million tax write-off to charity and he's back. And that is, there is some merit into where was this money before? They certainly found it. And, I thought it was pretty astounding when some of that stuff was going out with Brooks, and the punishment was being talked about. And the PGA Tour released the figures, this could be worth $50 to $85 million in 5 years as equity piece. And I was just like, that's a shit ton of money. Where did all this? These guys are making so much more money than they ever made, and it is. You cannot, with a straight face, say that the golfers on the PGA Tour would be as wealthy as they are now if it weren't for Liv, and that is meaningful. That is something that has changed the lives of a lot of golfers. The golfers themselves are better off than they ever have been. The fourth nice thing I have to say about Liv is the broadcast shows a lot of golf shots.
That's true.
It really does. And, maybe that's because they were trying to differentiate themselves from the PGA Tour. Maybe it's because they just really believe they need to show more golf shots. And maybe it's because everyone's playing at the same. I don't know what it is. But when you turn on a Live broadcast, they're playing a lot of golf. And that's really nice. The PGA Tour has also had to, and this is kind of what I was saying about the money piece. It has forced the PGA Tour to improve. And I think the PGA Tour has improved. And I think they have a new guy in right now, Brian Rolap, the number 2 from the NFL, who probably wouldn't have been in if Live hadn't happened because there was no pressure on a PGA Tour commissioner before. It was kind of you could make, your $18 million and ride off into the sunset and smile with big checks next to Tiger Woods. That is not the case anymore. They had to go for an innovator. They had to go for someone, with a little bit of fire, with a little bit of, a serious sort of aura and backbone and Brian Rollup, and they got that done. So, Liv has forced the PGA Tour to be better. I maintain that I think the PGA Tour is in a really good spot right now, but, I think this Live chapter will be studied and analyzed at Harvard Business School and everywhere else. But I think there will be some things that we look back on and say this was a positive change that happened because of Live. The fifth nice thing that I have to say about Live is now I know Roman numerals. I know what 54 is in Roman
But they went to 72 holes.
But they went to 72 holes. But I know what 54 is now. If I ever have to do a Roman numeral, I know that L is 50. I didn't know that before. So there's my 5 nice things that I said about Liv. So all you haters out there
can I add 2 things?
Oh, we got 2. We're saying 7 nice things about Liv.
I think this is the biggest benefit out of the entire divide is PGA Tour University. I don't know if that happens without Live Golf. Live Golf certainly pushed the PGA Tour to look into that college pathway and say there are so many guys that are just falling by the wayside. They're not converting. Like Patrick Rogers, like that type of that pathway is now direct to the PGA Tour. The other thing I would say is
a really good point. And those guys, Ludwig came from PGA Tour.
Yeah,
Michael
Carl Phillips, Michael Thorbjornsson, like the list goes on. Carl Phillips wasn't even in the top 5 on the PGA Tour. He played his way from top 10, used that to get into Canada, used that to get on Corn Ferry, won on Corn Ferry, got on the PGA Tour, won on the PGA Tour. Like, it's incredible, and he wasn't even in the top 5.
And it is kind of incredible when you think about it that there wasn't a path from college golf to the PGA Tour before. But yeah, this was something that they forced the PGA Tour to really take a hard look at itself. What's the other one?
It's just like there are some teams that are fun. You mentioned Torquay. I'm with you. I love the color scheme of Torquay. I love the camaraderie. Like, I've been to live events and I've seen like it's genuine camaraderie. And like, are all those teams worth what the golf world has gone through?
No.
I don't know. But having said that, like at face value, Ripper GC is an awesome team that like I want to hang around all the time. Torquay is an awesome team I want to hang around all the time. And Stinger GC, like there are some really fun teams that we wouldn't have if Liv didn't exist. However, like, it's kind of in the grand scheme of things, were those teams worth it?
This point I don't agree with that much. I love your point about PGA Tour U, the team golf thing. I mean, I love Torquay because I think they're funny. I don't think it's like, oh, I want to hang around this team. You know what I mean? I think team golf is great when it's college golf. I think team golf is great in the Ryder Cup a couple weeks a year. Team golf for me is, but I love Torquay. I want to make that clear. I love Torquay. They're my team. All right, we are going to move into our dog of the week. Our dog of the week this week is Sahith Theegala. Sahith had to play his last, I think it was 14 or 15 holes in 7 under par just to make the cut, and he did it. That's really impressive. That's dog mentality. Your back's against the wall. It's the first event of the year. You're in Hawaii. It's only one event in Hawaii. It's a long flight home if you miss, especially all the way to Florida. And he was missing it by a million. He's getting dunked on Twitter. People are calling him unserious. He had kind of a bad year last year. So there's a little bit of extra motivation for him to, get off to a good start. People are, is he going to bounce back? He finished well outside the top 100 last year. He finished tied for 31st this week after that serious rally on Friday. So Sahith is our dog of the week. We're going to move into Chirps, as we always do. Chirps from the gallery, our favorite tweets from all of you all around the golf internet. We're going to start with Kenny Kim, who's a beauty. He's been on the show, one of the funniest people in the world. Kenny Kim placed a bet on Hideki Matsuyama to miss under 7.5 fairways. And he said, I bet Hideki under 7.5 fairways hit, and he turned into Asian Calvin Pete. Which is just a perfect chirp because it's so golf sicko. It's so inside golf. You have to know who Calvin Pete is. Calvin Pete, I believe, hit 1 ball out of bounds his entire career, 20-something years on the PGA Tour, widely considered to be the straightest golfer who's ever played.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff out of Kenny Kim. Next, we have, there was a font change. There was a font change on the leaderboards. This is proper sicko behavior. Everyone noticed it was the first, event of the new year on the Golf Channel. There was a new font, and people said that the 8s were too thick. And I just love how much you guys are obsessed with golf to where you notice a very slight font tweak. We even had Josh Carpenter confirm this story with NBC Golf Channel that there was a new, so doing his journalistic integrity, which was fantastic. This was one of my favorite ones. Drawing back to what we said about Jordan Spieth, we had Glute Activator, which is a very funny account on Twitter. He had this to say about Spieth: some poor Titleist rep is scared to answer the phone out of fear it's Jordan Spieth on the other end, asking for a 6th 3-iron, promising he doesn't have a problem and that this is the last one, which is just fantastic because there is a little bit of a drug addict in every golfer. We know it's not necessarily great for us, but we go back to it every single time.
Do you notice that our pet clubs are always long clubs? Like, it's always a hybrid or a 5-wood or a 3-iron?
Yeah.
It's never a 7-iron or a pitching wedge.
Yeah, it's the trusty 3-wood that just won't go out of the bag. And then, our last chirp was from the winner on the PGA Tour himself, Chris Gotterup. He's won 3 times on the PGA Tour, and every time that he has won, he has tweeted this video, and it is incredible.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Tell him to bring me my money. Fantastic stuff. I got to give a shout out to Alex Bush and Matt Hennelly, who are here with me in Dubai. Today has been one of the longest days of our lives, but we made it through. We now can go to sleep, which is great news for everybody involved. My apologies to Mr. Neil Shipley. We ran out of time. I'm going to leave you with our clip of the week, which is something that the 3 of us did earlier today. We went on to the top level of the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday, live from Dubai. Enjoy our clip of the week.
We're about to go to the top of the tallest building in the world. We're going 2,700 feet up, which is 900 yards, which is 2 car 4s.
It's the tallest building you've been on.
Probably the Empire State Building, which is miniature. It's like a short par 3 compared to this long par 5. Golf show.
Holy shit. You're like looking down on the plains.
Look at that one second one.
Oh, yeah. That's insane. It's below us.
Wild. I feel very low now that we're back on the floor. I don't think we'll ever be the same.